is it so difficult to become successful? Like, I'm doing everything I need to do. It's still not working out. It's so difficult. It's so stressful. Well, let's take a moment. Let's breathe in. And let's breathe out. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Tar Guidance, and that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Let's go ahead and just get started. It is unfamiliar. Now, there is a difference between something being difficult and being unfamiliar. When something is difficult, it's challenging, it's hard, it just seems so impossible. It just seems like I'm not worthy. It just makes you feel like very insecure and doubtful, right? And it just makes it seem like you're not capable. Versus you being unfamiliar. So when something is unfamiliar, it's unconventional. It's unseen. It's unheard. You're not used to doing this. So if you're trying to maintain a lifestyle, if you're trying to get a new house, a new car, have a new mindset, have a new diet, just a new sense of fashion, or be around new environments and just do things that you're not familiar with, it seems challenging. It seems difficult because you're stepping outside of what you're familiar with. In order for you to grow, you have to be uncomfortable, as people like to say. And to be honest, you being uncomfortable as you're growing is the actual growth, is the change. You're like a snake. You have to shed. And I'm not saying snake in a negative way, because if you guys really understand feminine and masculine energy, snakes are very powerful and they're very intuitive beings, okay? So when it comes to you becoming successful, if you're unlearning, let's just say 18, 20, 30 years of information and knowledge, however old you are, and you decide that you want to have a new way of interpreting and perceiving life, all that years of experience, everything that you learn, you have to filter it. You have to take what resonates with you in the present moment and what you can use moving forward, and you have to leave everything else that doesn't. So I always tell you guys, if these videos apply, take what resonates, leave the rest. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. Whatever is not for you, you can't force it. And that's the same thing when it comes to you becoming successful. So if you grew up in poverty, if you grew up without certain resources, if you grew up in a certain environment where it was limited, or you were not taught or shown or exposed to certain things, and you want to do something different, you want to go against what you're familiar with, you're going to have a battle. And 99% of the time, the battle comes from uncertainty and insecurities or projections. The 1% is you knowing what it is that you want. You don't have to be a rocket science to understand what it is that you want in this life, how certain things make you feel, and the result of it. So what can you do to become familiar with your success? These are going to be some recommendations that I personally have for you. The first thing that you need to be aware of in order for you to become successful is accept what you've learned throughout the years. So speaking from experience, what I've learned within the first 27 years of my life, I'm telling you guys my age, once again, not too much, was what resonated with me, what was good in those moments, what was good in the past, what was good in those seasons, what I am using right now, currently, what I can use in the future, and what didn't work. So an example of this, let's just say younger me, baby Ty, I've learned good things, I learned bad things, I learned things that were about myself, my physical appearance, my health, my hygiene, others, relationships, for myself, my intimate family members, and etc. Everything that I was able to use, because everything that you learn in life is useful. It may be negative, it may be positive. It's just all about how you choose to interpret it. So all the positive energy that I learned from being young, when it comes to school, when it comes to relationships, the good and the bad, I was able to evaluate. I was able to see what resonated with me. I was able to see what was productive, what was fruitful, what was producing success and positive outcomes, versus the things where I'm like, you know what, I'm never going to do this again. So for example, I've been in maybe like 3, 4, 5 car accidents within the first 27 years of my life. And maybe like 2 or 3 of them that I can remember, you guys. I've been through a lot. 2 or 3 that I can remember, I was the only person like in the car, or I was responsible for, because I wasn't taught how to drive, unfortunately. I didn't have that luxury. I had to teach myself how to drive. I have 2 parents, like most people. One time I was able to drive with my dad, and another time I was able to drive with my mom, and that's the only time. So the one time that I can remember that it was very severe, I was 19 years old. What I had to learn from the past, a 19-year-old version of myself, was when I drive to slow down. And it also taught me how to maintain a car and just be mindful of the responsibilities of having a car. Like, it's more than just buying a car. If you guys know, oil changes, brakes, insurance, like what I wasn't able to learn, or what I didn't know at 19 that I've learned now throughout the years, was the responsibility. I'm not the type of person that's driving fast. Like, if I can't be punctual, if I can't have time management, which is also something that you can learn from, I don't need to be in a rush to get to where I need to be, because it only takes a split of a second for your life to be gone. Okay? So it's just certain things that you have to learn about yourself that you liked, and even the lessons where it may have hurt your feelings. So like breakups, getting fired from jobs, or just outgrowing things that no longer resonate with you, applying that information, learning what you can do differently in relationships that no longer resonate with you. In life, you are going to outgrow people. And life is very interesting. So it's like, appreciate the people in the seasons, learn the lessons, appreciate them in the moment, because when they're gone, they're gone. So the second recommendation is being present. And that's also a different topic for a different video, because it's so much about being present. And if you guys want me to talk about being present sooner, let me know and drop the word present in the comment section. But being present is making peace with your past. Once again, healing is not a one size fit all. It could take years, it could take months, it could take hours, it could take days, it could take weeks. It's all about you, girl, and your 16th birthday. And if you know where that's from, comment down below. But being present requires you to accept everything that you went through. The good, the bad, the ups, the downs, being in poverty, being wealthy, the friends, the families, the celebrations, the times where you were just like, how am I going to get through it? Like, everything. And like I said, applying what resonates with you and just accepting where you are. Now, this part is challenging once again, because if you're not where you want to be, it causes you to be uncomfortable. But what I've learned and what I want to tell you is that being uncomfortable is actually a good thing, because that means you're meant to grow. That means you're not going to be restricted. That means all the blockages from the people, places, and things who weren't for you, they have to be removed out of your life. And they never had authority, but like certain people do try to stop you, but they can't. Like, people are distractions, because instead of worrying about themselves, they worry about you. All of those things are going to get removed. And when you are being present, you're going through the withdrawals of that. So personally, from experience, being around a lot of energies and entities that was not my cup of tea, had consequences, excuse me. And you guys, I think I just got bit. Had consequences. When you surround yourself with the wrong people, they say, like, if you want to know where your future is going to be, so you who you hang around. It's true. Birds of a feather flock together. The birds that I was flocking with had to go. And like, as you're going through the withdrawals, as you're learning to be present, you know, like, you will never allow yourself to do certain things, and you just have to stand on it. Like, you have to mean it. Like me, it's a lot of things that is not acceptable at the age of 27 as I get older, especially as we get older in life, as you become a grown man, as you become a grown woman. Like, what you may did at 16 and 17, it doesn't apply. And it's not to like shame people, because age is a placement, but what you choose to do and your character defines your age. So like, if you're growing, you're not going to have the same mind that you did at 5 years old. Now, once again, just because you're growing doesn't mean that you can't allow certain things at 5 to be present in your reality. So another example is, if let's just say you grew up and you like to clean. Just because you're 27 years old doesn't mean that you have to stop cleaning. Like, if you started cleaning at 5, you increase that. So the skills that you pick up on that are productive, they would just enhance. They would increase. They just become more sustainable. And that's the same thing when it comes to your success. So the third thing, as you're learning to be present, as you're learning to make peace with your past, is just being patient. Because it's like, it's only 24 hours in a day, and you can't rush the process. Like, that's a part of the journey. Like, the ups and the downs, the times where you feel like, oh my God, am I ever going to get out of this? Valuable lessons. And as you're learning to be patient, especially as you get older, you mature, you realize what's worth your time and energy, you realize what's not worth your time and energy, and you take your time, and things actually work out better because you have to take your time. Like, you don't have to worry about distractions. You don't have to worry about people, places, and things that are not for you, because now you're able to see clearly. And I know from experience, because it's a lot that I'm going to be addressing as time goes on. But it's just really important for you to just take your time. And I made a video about that. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, just take your time and embrace where you are. Like, you can't be worried about what other people think about you. Like, me personally, I'm not worried about nobody because I went through a lot of these things. I know how I feel. Nobody who talked badly about me or betrayed me or did anything towards me is in a better position than me. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about like being at peace. Like, because if you're really at peace, you don't make fun of people when they're broke. That's not funny. Like, it's really disrespectful. And I definitely side-eye people who make fun of people who are broke, because nobody wants to be homeless. Nobody wants to be touched on inappropriately. Nobody wants to be broke. Nobody wants to be without a car and a job. Nobody wants to be hungry. So, like, that's a different type of, I don't know, like, it's just, ooh, bottom of my shoe type of scum. And I don't like to call people scum buckets or anything like that, but that's not it. Take your time, embrace where you are. You're the only person who knows what you went through. So I'm gonna make this into a part 2, you guys, because I have food in the oven and I am not trying to burn my food. Like, I am so sorry. I love you. Welcome or welcome back. If you're interested in more videos like this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All the information will be down in the description box below. Turn on your post notification bells. And if you want a one-on-one session, head to my website at tyguidance.summer.com. And follow me on Instagram. I do questions and answers. I go live on Instagram and on TikTok, trying to get to we're on the road to 500 followers on YouTube, so I can go live here as well if you're not able to book a session, or yeah, cast your vote on Instagram. But it doesn't have to be difficult. Being successful does not have to be challenging. It doesn't have to be difficult. It's just new, and you just got to take your time. You got to do the best that you can. You got to embrace yourself. You got to let go of everything that's no longer resonate with you and move forward, because you can't be worried about the people from your past and be in the future, because 100% guarantee you all them people, they're not going to be where you are in the next 5 years, into this year, 3 years from now. Love you, bye.